Have you ever received a message you didn't want to hear? A calling that made you want to turn around, pack your bags, and run? That is exactly what one man did. And he was a prophet of God. His name was Jonah. Jonah, the son of Amittai, was a man who heard the voice of God. He had seen God's power. He had delivered God's words. He believed in God's goodness. But one day, God gave him a command that stopped him cold. Go to the great city of Nineveh, God said. Preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Nineveh. The name alone sent a chill down his spine. Nineveh was one of the most powerful, brutal, and feared cities in the ancient world. The capital of Assyria, a nation that terrorized its neighbors with cruelty and violence. These were not strangers who might listen politely. These were enemies. And God was asking Jonah to walk into the heart of their city and deliver a message of judgment. Jonah had a choice. He made the wrong one. Jonah didn't pray. He didn't argue. He didn't ask questions. He ran. He traveled to Joppa, the nearest port city, found a ship sailing to Tarshish, paid the fare, and boarded. Tarshish was the opposite direction from Nineveh, the furthest point he could imagine. And as that ship pushed away from the dock, perhaps Jonah exhaled. Perhaps he told himself this was over, that God would find someone else, that he had outrun his calling. But here is what Jonah forgot. You cannot outrun God. The same God who spoke to Jonah on land was the God who created every ocean, every wave, every wind. And God was not finished with Jonah. Out on the open sea, the sky began to change. What had been calm became threatening. What had been quiet became violent. The Lord hurled a great wind upon the sea. The waves rose like walls. The ship groaned. The sailors, experienced men of the sea, were terrified. They cried out to their gods. They threw the cargo overboard. They did everything they could to survive. And where was Jonah? He had gone below deck, and he was fast asleep. The captain found him. "How can you sleep?" he cried. "Get up and call on your God. Maybe your God will notice us and we will not perish." The sailors cast lots to find out who was responsible for the storm. The lot fell on Jonah. They surrounded him. "Who are you? Where do you come from? What have you done?" Jonah looked at these men, strangers, sailors, people of different nations, and told them the truth. "I am a Hebrew," he said. "I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." And then he told them what he had done. He had fled from God. The sailors were terrified. The storm was getting worse. "What should we do with you to make the sea calm?" Jonah paused. Then he said something that must have cost him everything. "Pick me up and throw me into the sea. Then the sea will calm down. This storm is my fault." The sailors tried everything else first. They rowed harder. They struggled against the waves. But it was no use. Finally, they cried out to God, the God Jonah had introduced them to, asking for forgiveness for what they were about to do. And they threw Jonah into the sea. Immediately, the storm stopped. The waters became still. The sailors, filled with awe, worshipped the God of Jonah. And Jonah sank. Down, down, down. The cold water swallowed him. The light above disappeared. The sound of the storm became distant, and then nothing. The seaweed wrapped around him. The currents pulled him deeper. He was sinking into the heart of the seas. This was the end, or so it seemed, because God had prepared something extraordinary. And the Lord provided a great fish to swallow Jonah, not to kill him, to keep him. Inside the belly of the fish, Jonah was alive, completely alone, in total darkness, cut off from the world above. 3 days, 3 nights. Can you imagine that kind of stillness? Nowhere to go, no one to talk to, no way to escape. Sometimes God uses the dark places, the confined, uncomfortable, impossible places, not to destroy us, but to bring us back to ourselves. And that is exactly what happened. In the darkness, Jonah prayed. "In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead, I called for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas, and the currents swirled about me. The engulfing waters threatened me. Seaweed was wrapped around my head. To the roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me in forever. But you, Lord my God, brought my life up from the pit. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed I will make good. Salvation comes from the Lord. In the belly of the fish, the darkest, most hopeless place imaginable, Jonah found God again. Not because he deserved it, not because he had been obedient, but because God's mercy is greater than our running. And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. Jonah stood on dry ground, covered in the aftermath of his 3 days inside the fish, shaking, humbled, changed, and God spoke to him again. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. The same calling, the same city, the same command. This time Jonah went. He walked into Nineveh, a city so vast it took 3 days to cross, and he preached. 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. 8 words. No elaborate argument. No persuasive campaign. No signs or wonders. Just a simple, direct message from God. And something astonishing happened. The people of Nineveh believed. From the lowest citizen to the highest official, they declared a fast. They put on sackcloth. They cried out to God. Even the king of Nineveh rose from his throne, removed his royal robes, and covered himself in sackcloth and ashes. He issued a decree across the entire city. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? God may yet relent. And God did. When God saw what they did and how they turned from their evil ways, he relented and did not bring on them the destruction he had threatened. An entire city, one of the most powerful and feared in the ancient world, repented. Because one reluctant prophet finally said yes. But the story doesn't end there. Because Jonah was angry, he went outside the city, sat down, and complained to God. This is why I fled, he said. I knew you were gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in love. I knew you would spare them. Jonah hadn't run because he was afraid of Nineveh. He had run because he was afraid God would forgive them. He wanted judgment. He wanted justice. He wanted Nineveh destroyed. But God wanted something else entirely. God wanted mercy. And here is where the story cuts deepest. Because if we are honest, sometimes we are more like Jonah than we want to admit. We are happy to receive God's grace for ourselves, but we struggle to extend it to others. We want second chances for ourselves, but we want consequences for those we dislike. We want God's mercy to reach us, but not them. And God, patiently, gently, asks us the same question he asked Jonah. Should I not have concern for that great city? Should I not care about the people I made? Should I not reach them, even through the most unlikely, most reluctant messengers? The story of Jonah is not just about a man and a fish. It is about a God who pursues. A God who does not give up on the people he calls, even when they run. A God who uses storms, fish, and second chances to bring us back to our purpose. A God whose love reaches into the darkest, deepest places. Inside a fish, inside a cell, inside a season of shame, inside the lowest point of your life, and says, I'm not done with you yet. Maybe you're in a Jonah season right now. Maybe you've been running, avoiding the call, choosing the wrong ship, sleeping through the storm. Maybe you've been angry about the wrong things, refusing grace to people you think don't deserve it. Or maybe you're in the belly of the fish, surrounded by darkness and silence, wondering if God has forgotten you. He hasn't. He never does. Just as God heard Jonah's prayer in the deep, he hears yours right now. Just as God gave Nineveh a second chance, he offers one to you. Just as God's mercy was bigger than Jonah's rebellion, it is bigger than anything you've done. Because that is who God is. Slow to anger, abounding in love, and relentless in mercy. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. You cannot outrun God. But here is the beautiful truth. You don't have to. The end. Sparkles.